West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the West
Coast. The rich get even richer. And if you're an LA Dodgers fan, you got to be jumping all over the place, excited right now. I am for sure being a fan. And yeah, they strengthened their pitching staff with arguably the greatest pitcher in the game today. And I'll break it down. And some other teams made some moves as well as we head into the playoffs. And yeah, it was a fun MLB trade deadline. This is the post MLB trade deadline special of the West Coast Mindset, presented by the Recliner Media Network. And remember, guys, to subscribe, rate, like, review, and leave some comments. And keep watching the show. I appreciate your guys' support. The show is getting better and better the more I put out more content, and it's been so much fun to do. And I appreciate it, guys. It's all up to you. So, and you guys give me a chance to do my thing. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun. So keep doing it, guys. Great stuff. Now let's get to the big news of the weekend. And you should know by now, unless you're living under a rock, the Dodgers get the best pitcher in the game, arguably, because Paul Skeens is having a bit of a down year. So it's looking like it's Tarik Skubal's time to shine, and he's the best pitcher in the game. And he's headed to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And yeah, the Dodgers just keep adding more ammo to their gun, and they're going for it. They're not playing around. They want a dynasty. They want this three-peat, and they go out there and they get the best player available. During the trade deadline, they put all their chips forward, and they got it done. And the Tigers still got a couple of good players in this deal, so it wasn't an absolute fleece job for them. They get the number 25 ranked prospect in the MLB prospects wise, and Zaire Hope. They got a good up and coming pitcher, and River Ryan, who actually has been up with the Dodgers a couple of times before he went down with Tommy John surgery. But before that, the kid had a lot of promise. He throws a really hard fastball, a good slider, and he's got some good stuff. So that's something that the Tigers can build with and have for the future in their starting rotation. And they also got a good player in Brady Smith. So the Tigers still end up with something here. They weren't absolutely left to dry and got a bunch of trash players in return. They got something they can build with, and that's good if you're a Tigers fan. And I get it. Tigers fans are sick to their stomach because when you give up a player of that caliber, it's really hard to move on and say goodbye. But they got to do it because you can blame the front office because look, Tarik Skubal and them had a tough time during arbitration. They had a war of saying hey, like we can extend you, we can give you a pretty good pay raise because you've done so much for our team. And Tarik Skubal thought that he was worth more than what the Tigers were willing to offer him in arbitration. And that was looking like that was the beginning of the end for the two sides long term. And as we know, Scott Boras is his agent, and Scott Boras does not take any pay cuts. He doesn't take anything less than the max, and he wants the best for his clients. And Tarik Skubal agreed with this method, and he said, "Hey, I want either you pay me or I'm out of here." And the Tigers offered him an extension that wasn't up to his liking. It wasn't up to Scott Boras' liking, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to play here this year, and I'm going to be out there in free agency and listen to what other people can offer me. And if I get a better deal, then my time here in Detroit is coming to an end, and it's time to say deuces." And credit to the Tigers and at the end of the day, because they could have done what the Angels did with Shohei Ohtani a couple years ago, where they completely messed that up, where they could have traded him at the deadline and got some pieces in return and possibly could have built something for the future. But they said, hey, we're going to go for it one more time with Shohei and add a couple of players to this already built roster already with him. And that was an absolute disaster. They went completely crashing down. And Otani was saying, "Hey, I'm not going to be here. This is not going to work, and I'm out of here." And the Dodgers, obviously, as we know, swooped in, gave him the money, and his time across the freeway came to an end. And the Angels to this day are still getting that decision, and they're going to continue to struggle for years to come. So for the Tigers to just bite the bullet and say, "Hey, we appreciate the time that you gave us, but it's time for you to go," and they got something in return for them. So Tigers fans, stay patient. I get it. It's tough. It's gonna hurt for a couple of years. You're not gonna be able to really contend for the next couple of years, but at least you got something to be excited about for the future. Just not right now, but for the future, because these three players can have some talent. They have a lot of potential, and they can help you build something going forward. Now back to the Dodgers and what they have with Tarik Skubal, and it's just an abundance of riches in that starting rotation. We already know the offense is that's lineup on the offense is absolutely loaded, but now the starting pitching is absolutely loaded as well because now you have a starting rotation with Tarik Skubal, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Otani, Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Justin Robleski, Roki Sasaki, Emmett Sheehan, and a lot of other guys that can go in there and be plugged in. And it's just absolutely insane. They have so many weapons they can throw at you, pitching wise. And I get it. Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snow are very injury prone, but they're soon coming back in the next couple of weeks, and they get those two back in the starting rotation. And it's going to be really hard for opposing offenses to score runs off these guys because they just have so much talent on that side of the ball. And now you get the best pitcher in the game to lead the way for you in that department. Man, I just don't know how they can be beat because uh, I get it. They've had some bit of down years on their offense when it comes to Kyle Tucker because Kyle Tucker was the big fish they got this offseason. And he was supposed to do a lot of big things, and he's having a pretty down year. So to cover up for that mistake, they said, "Hey, let's go get the best guy that can pitch, and let's just keep dominating on the pitching side. If we can keep teams from scoring, and we can score enough runs with our offense, that's the way we can win." And that's just that's what they decided to do. And now that Kyle Tucker deal is not looking as bad, and maybe Mookie Betts could get going and start swinging the bat because he's had a bit of a down year. And now that the pressure's off of them and they can just pitch their way to victory, then maybe the offense overall as a whole, which is already really good as it is going to be even better. And yeah, this team is just absolutely ridiculously loaded. I can't even, I still can't believe it, that it happened because I thought after seeing the news before this, I really didn't think they were going to go all in for Tarik Skubal. I thought they were going to continue with what they had because what they had was still really good. You just need to get healthy because, as I said, Tyler Glasnow needs to come back, but like Snow needs to come back, and then you put them in the starting rotation. Then they're a good team again, and they're still a loaded starting rotation as it is. But as we saw with Shohei Otani, he's having some injury trouble on the pitching side of his game, and it's looking like he probably won't be able to pitch going forward. So the Dodgers said, "Hey, let's just keep Otani off the mound, and let's go get another starting pitcher to fill in, and not worry about too much, not putting too much stress on his body, and putting too much pressure on him to continue to play it both ways. Let's just go get another pitcher." And I was thinking, hey, maybe you might get like a back of the end of the rotation kind of pitcher just to build out the depth. But no, they get the best guy on the market, and they just have so much, and it's expected. They have to win the championship. It's championship or bust. It was already like that in the beginning. I understand they're the back-to-back champions, and they have a history of winning. And they had to get it done either way. But now it has to happen because if they don't win the championship this year, I don't know what they're gonna do going forward because you have so much money on the books, and Their payroll is over $300 million, and yeah, they have to get it done. And if they don't, then as I said, it's I don't know what they go forward with. Well, will you keep the same players? Will you make some trades? We'll see what happens, but they're expected to win, and I expect them to win. So we'll see if that comes to uh, fruition. And I expect it, and this is gonna be fun to watch. Now, for the league as a whole, what does this mean for the rest of the MLB? And honestly, my opinion is just be better in the way that you do business. I'm so tired of people saying that the Dodgers have all this money, and they do. I get it. They have the highest payroll in the league, alongside the Mets, and the Yankees still have a very high payroll themselves. And people say that they just go out there and they just spend money and they want to buy their team and all that, but they don't realize the Dodgers still have arguably the best farm system um, in the game, and they have a culture set there with the way that they've done things. Credit to Dave Roberts, credit to Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, and Clayton Kershaw before he retired, and the way that they set the culture of a winning organization, and a culture where guys want to go there and contribute and win, and it's just a great vibe there, and players want to be there and they want to join it, and it's all the credit to with the way they've ran it, and the fact that people are saying that yeah, it's all just a money grab and they don't care about that. It's absolute BS, bro. Like, nah. Like, if they didn't have number one farm system, other teams aren't gonna be like, hey, like we'll make a trade with you because we just want to give you our talent for nothing. No, the Dodgers do a great job of scouting. They do a great job of developing talent, and that gives them the power to go out there and make these acquisitions. And as I said with the Tigers, they got some good players back in return. The Dodgers could have kept those players and developed them and brought them up through their system and be on the big team, and they still could have competed. But the fact that they can give them up and get players that can play right now and help them to win right now, that's good business. And the fact that other owners don't want to do that and other GMs don't want to do that, that's just embarrassing for them. And they're going to be out there and say, hey, we want the salary cap, we want a salary floor, we want all this so it can be fair because the Dodgers are unfair and they're just doing things that we can't do, when it's not true. You can go out there, and the Brewers could have made a trade for Tarik Skubal. They could have offered some of their best prospects and given the Tigers their best prospects and gotten Skubal. The Rays could have done it, although they did get Freddie Peralta. That's a pretty good move for them, I think. I think he'll be better with them. But still, other teams could have offered Skubal, offered the Tigers a big package for Skubal, and they didn't do it. And they always say the Dodgers always outspend everybody. No, it's just that they wait and they're waiting for you guys to make moves, and they see nothing's happening. So they're like, hey, if they don't want to get this guy, then we go get him. And that's exactly what happens every single time. And everybody blames the Dodgers for it when that's not the absolute truth. And it's looking like it's going to be a salary cap coming up soon because of it. Not because the Dodgers are unfair. It's because the other teams don't want to put the work in and don't want to spend the money to make that happen and try to compete for a championship and go all in. They want to continue to be cheap. They want to continue to be lazy and not develop their best players. They just think that if the rules are hampered down for everybody else, then we have a better chance to win. When that's an absolute lie, and I'm sick of it. And I hope the Dodgers, obviously as a fan, go out there and win the third straight. And I hope that the salary cap happens and the Dodgers still find a way to compete, and they still find a way to get the best team out there and do business. Because if that happens and they continue to win championships going forward with the salary cap, what else are people going to say? Like, what are they going to say now? Oh, the salary cap sucks now. Why did we even add this? Now the Dodgers they're still finding loopholes in the system and all this other crap. And it's just like, yo, just be be glad that you're seeing the team show other teams that uh, how to run a good business, and yeah, the Dodgers are absolutely doing that. And other teams, and other front offices should take notes and drop their egos, and follow what the Dodgers do, because with what we're seeing last couple of years, it works. And instead of complaining about it, why don't you mimic it and be better? And that's just the way it is. And we'll see what happens. It's looking like there is going to be a lockout, and it sucks because I was not rooting for it at all, because baseball is at an absolute high right now. It's the greatest it's ever been when it comes to ratings, when it comes to attendance, with the way that the rule change made the game even better and faster and more fun to watch. And if they have a lockout, that's really going to turn off a lot of people, and their overall organization may take a hit from it. But these owners are willing to do it and take the chance. And if that's the case, then it's gonna suck. We may end up losing a lot of games to start out the season. Who knows what's gonna happen? But with the way things are going now, and now that Skubal is on the Dodgers, then it's highly likely that there is gonna be a lockout, and baseball fans we're gonna have to struggle not being able to watch any baseball next year, and depending on how long this negotiation with the CBA and everything goes its way. But at the end of the day, the Dodgers are even better now, and they're going to go out there and try to shut people up and try to win a third straight championship. And then we'll see what happens after that. But for now, it's Dodger baseball, baby. And the Dodgers are showing everybody how to do it, and they're going all in. And it's go time, and it's looking like it's dynasty time in the city of LA, and I'm all for it. So have fun with you guys. Enjoy the rest of the MLB trade deadline as it comes to a close. Other teams made some moves, and I'll get to the next team that I think made some moves that can help them go forward. And the Chicago Cubs, they added some pitching to their team. Their team is pretty good. They're chasing the Brewers in that tough NL Central, and they needed some pitching, and they got some pitching. They got 4 pitchers in return. They got Kevin Gausman from the Blue Jays, good pitcher from them. They got Clay Holmes from the Yankees, another good pitcher that's going to help them in their rotation. Braxton Garrett and Ryan Zefferhan, and these guys are going to help them, because that's what the Cubs needed. They needed some pitching to go along with that good young offense they have over there, and they're a really good defensive team. And they also acquired an outfielder in Tyrone Taylor from the Mets. And the Cubs are building something. They're saying, hey, we're not afraid of the Brewers. We can compete with the Brewers. They beat us in the playoffs last year, and we want their revenge. And getting these pitchers is going to help them, because they're a very athletic team. If they can go out there and get outs and pitch well, it's really going to help them. Pico Armstrong is having a bounce back season after he was having an MVP caliber season last year and had a complete fall off. And I like Seiya Suzuki and a lot of the players that they have there. And they have a really good young roster. They have Dansby Swanson there as the shortstop, and he is a good veteran to lead that group. I like Nico Horner. And overall, yeah, just that young culture of the Cubs is really good. And now you get some pitching to help with that. And yeah, I think the Cubs can really give the Brewers a run for their money in that division. I get it; it's a long way to go, because the Brewers currently have the best record in baseball right now. But the Cubs are not afraid, and they want to go out there and go on the winning streak, and possibly compete with the Brewers in the NL Central. And as I said earlier, the Brewers didn't make any big moves at all, really, to make a difference, and the Cubs did. And they're gonna go out there and try to beat them. And even if they're a wildcard team, they can possibly be a scary team for whoever gets them in the first round, and they can make some noise. And I like this for the Cubs. So we'll see what happens. Wrigleyville, you finally have a chance to possibly compete with the Dodgers. I still think that they're not able to, but we saw today that they scored 10 runs against the Dodgers. Ironically, they played today in Chicago, And yeah, the Cubs show that they still have some talent, and they could possibly put a scare into the Dodgers when it all comes uh, when it matters most in the playoffs. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And Tarik Skubal is going to pitch for the Dodgers and make his debut on Tuesday, and we'll see a sneak preview of that. And hey, maybe the Cubs can go out there and spoil that debut. And if they can put some runs against Tarik Skubal, then their confidence is really gonna go up from there. And now adding these pieces to that, the Cubs can make some noise in the National League, and we'll see if that indeed is the case. And it'd be great to see the Cubs really make some noise in the playoffs again. Because as I've said many times in baseball, when the Dodgers are good, when the Cubs are good, when the Yankees are good, when the Red Sox are good, it's better for baseball. Because when the big markets uh, play well, it's better for the league overall as a whole. And the fact that the Cubs are not backing down and they want to keep competing, that's a great sign. So I love that, and great acquisitions at the deadline for them. They're one of the winners for sure. And I already brought up the Yankees, and the Yankees went out there and added to their lineup. They went out there and got some left-handed power with Luis Garcia Jr. from the Washington Nationals. He has 24 home runs in the season, and his swing works in that short porch over there in Yankee Stadium. They also got Heliot Ramos, another right-handed power bat from the San Francisco Giants. He's going to help them hit a couple of home runs and hit in that hitter-friendly ballpark. And we all know Aaron Judge is dealing with an injury, and he's been out for a couple of months now. But the Yankees are still optimistic that he's gonna come back before the playoffs start. And you add him to line up with these two new players to it, the Yankees can really make some noise because they're pitching very well, and they have a rotation now with Garrett Cole, who's back now after Tommy John surgery. Max Fried is in that rotation. Carlos Rodon's pitched very well. Cam Schlittler is looking like the leader for Cy Young in the American League, and he is absolutely nasty. And yeah, now you add Aaron Judge to a lineup like that with these two boppers in there. The Yankees can really make some noise, and they're chasing the Tampa Bay Rays in that American League East. And now that they have some more offensive firepower, they can really put a scare into them as well. Because as I said in the last segment with the Cubs, they're chasing the Brewers, and they want to. They're making a statement, and they're not backing down, and they want to go after it and win that division. And the Yankees are feeling the same way. They're like, hey, we still think we're better than you. I get it. You have the better record than us, but now that if we get our best player back, and we added these two weapons to our offense, then we can for sure compete with you. And they're not scared because the way that the Rays do things, they do it more analytically. They do it more with their pitching. They find timely hitting here and there. Junior Caminero is an absolute monster, and I understand that. And Jonathan Aranda is a good player, but they don't really have a lot of superstar talent on that team to really put a scare into people because they still win. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for the way that they do things over there. Andrew Freeman obviously used to be the president of baseball operations for that team, and now he's with the Dodgers, obviously. And he set up a good culture for the way that they do things over there. And after he left and the new guy came in, he followed up after his footsteps, and he's doing a great job there. And he's making moves without spending too much money, and he does it smartly. And as I said earlier, they got Freddie Peralta, and I think Freddie Peralta needed a change of scenery because, as we've seen with so many players on the Mets, going to the Mets, there's something wrong going on there. I don't know if it's the way that they run things in the clubhouse or what it is, but there's just that black cat running around that organization the last couple of years. They've went out there and they spent money, but for some reason, when players go there, they just don't contribute. I don't know what it is. Juan Soto, I get his numbers are good, but he's expected to do a lot more coming in to that team after he got that huge deal, obviously. Bo Bichette was paid this offseason, and I don't know what happened. His swing is completely off, and he changed his stance, and he doesn't look comfortable. and they let Pete Alonso go. They got Freddie Peralta, as I said in the offseason from the Brewers, and his ERA is going towards 5, and he's not going deep in the games. And yeah, something's just wrong with that organization. They finally fired Carlos Mendoza, so yeah, the Mets are an absolute mess. But going back to the Rays, yeah, now they get Peralta, and they're going all in. And I get it; they could have went out and got Skubal, but with the way they do things, as I said, they still want to do it uh, the natural way and the cheap way, and they do it smartly. And they went out there and got Peralta, so they're still trying to compete and win that division. So going back to the Yankees, yeah, they still think that they have the best talent, and honestly, I still think they do. I think that they can come out of the American League because, as we've seen many times in the postseason, if you can pitch, you can win a lot of series. And the Yankees have the pitching, and they just needed a little more offense. And now you add these two guys with Aaron Judge, and hopefully Chicago Stanton can stay healthy. Cody Bellinger did get hurt recently. He's going to be out a couple of weeks, so you got to hope that he can come back and start swinging the bat again and play well again in their lineup. And if they can get some offense to go at that pitching, then the Yankees can possibly get back to the World Series and possibly meet the Dodgers again for a rematch for the World Series ago and get the revenge because in that World Series, the Dodgers absolutely dominated that series, and the Yankees had a bad taste in their mouth. They were like, they didn't feel like they belonged on the field with them, and they made a lot of moves going into last playoffs, going into last season, and they got embarrassed in that first round against the Blue Jays, who ended up playing the Dodgers in the World Series, and they want their get back, and they have a good chance to do it if they can just stay healthy, and they can play up to par and get to where they want to go, which is the World Series. So making these kind of moves will help. And yeah, the Yankees are going to be pretty good. And the Red Sox are still making the surge. They recently swept the Dodgers this weekend, and they've been red hot. They've been 23-3 over the last month or so, 2 months, and they made a move. They got Heliot Rutschman, a good catcher, although they made a head scratching move and trading Marcelo Meyer to the I forgot where he got traded to, but they traded Marcelo Meyer, and he was a good prospect, so that was a bit of a head scratcher. But they get Heliot Rutschman, and he was a guy that needed to change the scenery as well. He was a really good up and coming talent in Baltimore, a switch hitting catcher that can defend, that can run. And it's just an absolute athlete. And yeah, his time in Baltimore was just ready to come to an end. And yeah, now he gets to go to a team that's red hot and he has a good culture going, and continues to ride that wave heading into the stretch run of the playoffs. They still have a lot of work to do because yeah, they're in the wild card hunt. They still have some a ways to go to possibly compete in a division. But now adding this piece to them is really going to help them. So that's a good move for them. And the Padres made a couple moves to their starting rotation. They got 2 pitchers, and they're going to go out there and try to make a run. They've been red hot lately, even though they're still a bit way behind the Dodgers, but they want to get back into the wild card mix. And if they can get back into the wild card mix and maybe shock a first round team with the pitching now that they have, they can do some damage. Yeah, they got Casey Mize, they got Robbie Ray now in their pitching staff. And yeah, to go along with that great bullpen with obviously with Mason Miller, the monster in the ninth inning, and Adrian Morejon, the really good setup man from the left side. They can go out there and possibly win a short series and make some noise. And we all know that they want to get their get back against the Dodgers because obviously they're the hated rival in their division, and the Dodgers broke their hearts 2 years ago, where the Dodgers should have lost that series, and the Padres were gonna move on, but then the Dodgers obviously came back and shut them down and won that series, and obviously went on to win the World Series. So credit to the Padres, they don't want to back down. They were a disappointment for a lot of the season, but as I said, they've been red hot and they still want to compete. And yeah, they went out there and made moves, and they're going for it. So credit to them. And yeah, a lot of teams still want to go for it. They don't think that it's an absolute given that the Dodgers are going to win it all again. And yeah, I respect it. It's just that it's the fans and a little bit of the owners that are getting my nerves when it comes to saying that it's an absolute wrap and the Dodgers are just going to win it automatically. At the end of the day, you still have to go out there and play. You still have to go out there and pitch. You still have to go out there and hit. It's not a given. So, as we saw last year with the Blue Jays, they were 2 outs away from beating the Dodgers, and it was looking like it was going to be an absolute disaster in LA after spending all that money uh, in the offseason going into that season. But hey, as we saw, Miguel Rojas saved the day, and yeah, baseball is a funny game, man, and anything can happen. So we'll see what happens as we head closer and closer to the playoffs, and I'm excited for it. I love playoff baseball, and yeah, I'm excited. Now we got the best pitcher in the game. We're gonna get guys back from the injured list, and when everybody is back in the saddle and they're at full strength, it's gonna be fun to watch, and we'll see if somebody can knock them out. And yeah, it's gonna be an absolute spectacle to see. So a lot of great stuff going on in the trade deadline. A lot of moves, a lot of minor moves that might also go under the radar that can help teams compete. And yeah, overall, a very entertaining MLB trade deadline. And with that, this was the West Coast Mindset. I'm Alberto Lucero. I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, enjoy the stretch run of the MLB. Football is around the corner. Basketball, we'll see what happens with some of the free agents that are still out there, and see if they can go and join some teams and be excited for that. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And yeah, sports is never ends, guys. It's an ongoing thing every single day, and I'm all for it. And I'm all for giving you guys all my analysis and all the news that I find out every single week. And it's an absolute blast for me to do. And with that, this was the West Coast Mindset, as I said. I'll see you guys next week.
This the West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the